on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show.
ADR Networks presenta Las opiniones expresadas en este programa son responsabilidad exclusiva de quienes las emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento o alguna posición oficial de este medio de comunicación. ADR Networks presenta.
This is Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch.
And this is...
Foreign show. On the foreign show.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, races, places, faces, welcome to the show. This is That Foreign Show.
I'm Celestine Angel.
I'm Isaac Rakesh,
And we're here on ADR Networks.
activating your sense. Yep.
So, first and foremost, we would like to jump into that insider, which we are going to talk about. This weekend is Chinese New Year. So, or Lunar New Year is celebrated by Asians, Japanese, Koreans, and whoever wants to celebrate the Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
So, we will be playing at this event. It's organized by the Alcaldía of Venustiano Carranza. It's a parade, is a desfile, a parade, and
Yep.
we will be playing on the parade, Illuminary. That's
Yes,
us.
we're gonna be in the parade, a part of the parade. A big shout out to all of the other people who are involved as well.
Yes, there will be a Korean DJ. She is one of the DJs that play like in the nightlife over here. She's really good. We've heard her many times, and
Big shout
really
out.
enjoy her stuff. I don't know what she's going to be playing for this Chinese New Year event. She might be playing Korean pop songs. I don't know what she's going to do, but we will be doing a mix of our songs, our remixes, as well as some Chinese numbers,
Yes.
especially prepared for this event. So if you want to join a Chinese New Year parade, come down. This is the address.
Yes, the address is right there. It's in.
Hardin, Papuena.
Mhm.
Oh, it's kind of blur.
Right.
But well, we will
We'll
put
post it up
the-
so you guys can check it out. It's happening this Saturday. All right. It's in the afternoon. Right.
we put up the poster on the Instagram page, which is that foreign show Instagram. The the tag is that foreign show. So
So we're real excited.
we'll see you tomorrow.
Dragon Year, right? It's a
Dragon
new.
Year, yeah.
Everyone's excited about that. You know,
Hence,
like,
I'm wearing
so-
this.
you know. So we want to invite you guys. Come on down and join us. All right. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great vibes to kick this Lunar New Year off.
Right, and so I was gonna say there will be kung fu, dragon dances,
Yes.
lion dances,
Lion dance. Yes.
the works, and it will be very fun. And we'll be playing 2 times, like on 2 stages, the parade ones, and then on the main stage at 4 o'clock. So 2:30 is the parade, and then 4 o'clock is the main stage.
A big shout out to Eric and his school. They're going to be doing their presentation.
Yes, thank
Come
you,
on down
Eric.
and join us. And
for
here's the map, by the way. If you can take a
organizing.
look. The map actually shows the route. All right.
Yeah, the desfile.
The corridor, right? The route that's going to happen. Yes. Big shout out to Eric. Thank you for
Yes,
organizing
so you can
this.
see Eric has 2 schools of his affiliated to him
Yes.
there, Chaolong and Troy.
Big shout out.
All right, so that's it for that insider. I think our guests they are on already backstage. So today we have Nadia and Steve.
Yeah.
Our first baby on the show.
Yes.
We're gonna
We
have
wanna-
baby Q. So baby Ketzel.
Yes. Want to invite Baby Q to the show. The first baby on that forum show.
The
Yes.
first
That's right.
baby on that front show.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
are they on or
I think they're backstage
Are they
and they're prepping up. And for you guys, just to let you guys know, we are reconnecting with familiar faces. Hey, hello.
baby Ketzel?
Hola.
Welcome.
Lunar New Year.
Happy Lunar New Year to you
Baby
guys.
Ketzel is completely blocked by your name.
Yes.
But,
Raise her,
Okay.
to- Oh, she's so cute.
Oh.
I can't take it.
Welcome.
So cutie.
Wait, how do you
Hey guys.
do you guys call her Q, by the way?
Sí, cute, cute.
Sometimes
Q, Baby Q
Quetzal
Thank you.
or
Joining us.
Quetzal.
on the show. That forum show. Yes.
Ketzel staring at Steve right now.
And it's her first show too, so
Yes.
Yeah.
it's an experiment all around. But last time we were on in late January, you were just starting to carry
Yes.
her.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
want to get into that also. Like
Like that was part 1. That was part 2. Baby's
Yeah.
out.
yeah. So maybe let's start with that, Nadia. Like what has kind of changed? I mean, from that moment being pregnant to now actually having baby Q, and has anything kind of surprised you or something different? Something has changed with your expectations?
Oh, of course, a lot. Like
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
first, I think we were planning to have baby Q in the States. That was the main expectation, and
Okay.
and
Yeah.
what else? Oh, many. But yeah, that was a main one, and then happened to be different. We
So you had
had
a change of plans,
yeah.
and
So
you had baby Q here in Mexico.
So
Yes.
initially you
Yeah.
wanted to have baby Q in the States, meaning you wanted to give birth there, or you
Yes.
mean like raise her there? Oh, you wanted to give
Okay.
birth there. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
yes, like to move there for a while, have her there, like give birth there and everything. So basically, that was the see, that was a big change because first for the paperwork, right? Like mainly it was like we couldn't make it
Get
like
it here.
time happen, and then we started to review at the cost, like in the States versus here, and it was
Hmm.
so different. And so we started to see many like good things about having her here instead. And
Ah.
Yeah, I mean,
It
like
ended
you
up
said,
being a big blessing. We kind of were not able to have her in the States, but it opened up the pathway and possibility to have her here, which I think ended up being a lot more compassionate and kind of humane in a lot of ways in the end. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
can you tell us a
Yeah,
bit about
elaborate
that,
on it,
Steve?
please.
Yeah, like what was different? Like what did you guys actually
How was it like more compassionate in
Well, I would say they have a bit more parental leave here than in the States, generally
Oh,
speaking.
okay.
okay.
Um, and also, I think the cost, first and foremost, I probably should have said, is much more reasonable here for having a child. And they have a nice history of kind of home births and water births, natural
Okay.
births.
Because the pen, right? Yeah.
Here, and so we actually ended up doing a clinic slash like hospital birth, but had planned on a home birth. But we were able to like have both options accessible fairly affordably, and we also had like a birthing doctor as well as a doula who
Wow.
were very knowledgeable and very supportive. And I felt like we were kind of in control of the process in a way that you hear a lot of like young parents and mothers in the States maybe get talked into a certain type of birth with more medicine or just less comfortable circumstances. And I think it was important for Nadia to have a lot of ownership over her body and agency in the process, and felt like more able to do that here than in the States. And you hear a lot of things about childbirth being harmful in the States for a lot of mothers, and particularly mothers of color. And I think we were able to feel like very, in control of the process in ways that were important and might not have been the case in the States.
You know,
Right.
this is like the noisiest I have seen Katsu.
Yes,
Like
she
usually she's quiet, and like today she wants to join in the
yes, she
conversation.
wants
I
to
think.
join us.
I think she just started teething, so
Okay.
she's been a little more chatty, and as she's finding her voice, she's been a little squealy also. So it's a cute time, and then I think she does
She's been
want
squealy,
to.
she wants
We,
to be. She wants to participate. She loves to.
right? Yeah,
yes.
I
I
feel
think that's
so.
more than
She
anything.
knows.
Yeah.
Well, we would invite her back on the show. Like maybe in a year.
And,
When
and
she
if
can
you
say
want, maybe
like,
Nadia could also share the birth story, just of how things happened. If
Yes, yes,
yeah,
please. And
Please.
these things that you're talking about, Steve, are really interesting because I know it's a bit off topic from what we kind of planned, but a natural birth and things, these are things that are important to you guys, or something that you actually wanted to do naturally.
Yes. Yeah, so
Okay.
my call, like at first I was like, I don't know how to explain that, and I don't know if it makes sense, but I would like to
Mm.
have her home or do the most of the process at least home. So even for family was like, what? And especially for you and your family, it was like, what? No, no way. So then I started to do research. I mean, I just got a hunch, and then we started to do research, get more into the topic, and we found out like, yeah, it's the best way to have babies, and if it's natural and the conditions like are able, like are like optimal, you can actually have birth like at home, and it's like the most comfortable because you're comfortable there, right? Like you is
Okay.
place.
yeah,
So it's like so intimate. It's such an intimate moment
yeah,
that
Mm.
imagine being in a hospital with a lot of people looking at you.
yeah,
It's like, how are you
Right.
gonna
right.
give birth? Even going to the
So
bathroom,
uncomfortable.
you wouldn't go with people looking at you, right? So
Yeah.
imagine giving birth.
Yes.
So that to say, yeah, like a lot
and
of
what are
things.
the elements needed to give birth?
Yes. Oh, it's basically it's hormones. It's oxytocin. So that means that you have to be in a calm, relaxed, and loving state to
Mm-hmm.
for the birth to go in like the
You're
best
talking
way.
about naturally
Yes.
to get this
Yes.
hormone.
Develop.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Exactly.
develop, yeah.
Otherwise, if you're stressed, it will get complications.
But the
Meaning,
biggest thing you need is calm and comfortability, as well as like kind of darkness is
yes.
helpful, and sometimes music, and or like a few
Oh
things.
wow.
But
Okay.
Mm.
See, you were feeling all of that.
But basically,
She was there. She knows she was there.
And I think
see,
it's like
when
you
you break it
rather give
down,
birth
the
in
elements were
cheaper
such that it
days.
seemed like the home made sense, and a lot of the statistics out there against home births are seem like more extreme situations
Yes.
and unusual, and we were also able to have like a very nearby clinic, like kind of backup plan. But
Yes.
you can
Okay.
maybe keep
Okay.
going on the story.
Yeah, so basically
If-
we found a partera, like a doctor that she will like do all the process, come and visit us, which was also very nice because you usually have to go to clinic, and when it's during the last weeks, you're like definitely it's not comfortable to go out and go
Yeah.
to hospital, get checked up and all that. So that meant like it was very nice to have someone coming by, checking all the like how it was developing. And yeah, at the
who
end,
specialized in natural births
yes,
and home births, and we got a tub for a water birth as a plan.
yes. But I mean,
So the,
Plan
the
B
idea
or
behind the idea behind the water birth is it's supposed to be easier.
yes,
Is that it?
yeah, because
Okay.
of the contractions can be like intense. Um,
Mm.
the water helps you out like to soothe like the pain or whatever is like like the tension in your hips. So the water helps you relax, and that makes it so much easier. Because
and it's kind of goes back to like birthing in like rivers or
yes,
oceans or like natural historical births, and think about water
Yeah.
and exercising, and
yes,
it's
like a hot
painful,
tub.
but it's like
Yes,
kind of easier to work through things, so it can be pretty optimal if the
yes, if the conditions are
circumstances are right.
yeah. So
And
the
I
idea is
get
like
it. This whole
even
thing.
if you don't deliver there because some woman may at the end up delivering somewhere else, on the couch or you're moving around the house. It's not that you stay
Right.
all time in water, but you get in
Right.
the tub to release the pain. And yeah, you can deliver the baby in the water, and that's amazing. But if not, also it helps through the process to be more like manageable and not using meds, not using painkillers or anything. Water is the natural
Wow.
like painkiller they call it.
And we'd kind of looked into birthing without pain or birthing with
Yes.
pleasure or orgasmic
Uh-huh.
birth,
Right.
kind of
Right.
these
Uh-huh.
ideas of having so much pain that it's almost pleasurable, and it's kind of similar to like DMT or certain
Yes.
plant medicine
Mm.
experiences. Some people even say you could probably speak to that more, but we were kind of set up for a natural labor
Yes.
process, which I think is
Wow. Okay.
very
I have
important.
read articles about that. So I mean, it's like a certain breathing techniques to
Yes.
kind of.
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
basically, at the end, we delivered her in the hospital because she
Mm.
was upside down,
Okay.
and she, yeah, baby Q wanted to be like booty down, and so she
Yeah.
couldn't
She
go
wanted.
down.
Yeah.
So after 10, 12 hours of labor, yeah, the doctor was like, she's not coming down, and because she broke the water like early, like at 3 a.m., and by 2 p.m. she was not down, and I was like leaking basically like the amniotic fluid was like going out. We're like, okay, for it to not become a problem or a like emergency, we
Mhm.
maybe go to the clinic now and like yeah, like we
Check in
schedule.
and be ready to do it there. So it's like
Yeah.
10% of the time, for certain emergency situations, you want to be able to do a cesarean, which is what we ended up needing for. But because
Right.
we'd done so much of the natural labor at home,
It
Nadia
was
bonded with Quetzal.
so strong, and even like it was 12 hours, but I didn't feel it was 12 hours. It's like it's I wouldn't say painful like when you hit yourself or something. It's like so intense that you have to go through it like consciously presence. So he stayed with me like with the breathings, and whenever like a contraction came, it's like a wave. You ride it, and it's like at the peak it's like so strong that you hold on with the breath work. And I was even like chanting or using my voice like the and that like there's a thing that they say like the vocal cords and the like reproductive system, like all
Uh-huh.
both are connected and they look the same.
Right.
So when you're
Oh.
giving birth, like
You can be noisy.
yes, you can be noisy, and the
And it can be
more
helpful.
noisy, like the more you use your cords and you relax this
Yeah.
here
So you
down up,
connect
Yeah.
with it, right?
relaxes
Yeah.
down.
I mean, imagine at that point someone coming up to you and asking you to keep quiet. You're
Yeah,
gonna,
that's like
And a lot of times in the US, it's like just
yes,
people taking shots to numb the pain and to be like
Mm.
Yeah.
removed from the process.
yes.
And I think that also helped immensely for Quetzal to
See?
latch after being born, where she was able to breastfeed
Yes.
immediately, which is kind of important. And we didn't need to try formulas. And
Yes.
you'd build the connection with her, pushing for
Yes.
almost 13 hours, and then
And it
going to the
helps.
hospital, which was very near, but that was what we needed to do.
Yes, and definitely
Yeah.
makes such a difference because also she, let's say like you're being born or you're a little baby, you give like heads up when the contractions start happening. You like give
Uh,
heads up and you prepare to come out. And if you don't get them, then baby like what happened? Like what is going on? So
And
that helped a lot.
which
Also for
hospital
her, I
was
think.
this? That
We
you
went to just a small clinic near us called Fatima. Yeah.
See,
that small clinic handles births and all that.
Yeah, they have a doctor specializing in
a surgeon.
cesarean
Yes.
sections, a surgeon.
Oh,
So basically, our medical doctor, who's also a home doctor, who's from Peru and specializes in natural births. I think it's Natural Birth Mexico. She and our doula midwife, we'd already like toured the facility and knew them, so they were ready if the labor was such that it wasn't going to happen at home. So they were kind of on call, and it was kind of amazing because like within an hour, Quetzal was
Yes.
there because it's a full surgery operation and pretty dangerous and severe
Yes.
under certain situations. So
So
it was ready, and Quetzal had just was kind of like booty down, and you can deliver babies
Yeah,
like that
which is
sometimes, but she
dangerous.
wasn't. She's
oh.
very
Going down.
big and just wasn't happening that
She's
way.
very big.
Wow, so you guys got in a way you got the best of both
Yeah.
worlds in a way, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I think so.
Wait, back to the like topic of doing this here in Mexico. Like it's pretty cool that like all these options are offered, right? That you have the natural birth Mexico thing that you just mentioned, and you can do exactly how you like it. I mean, I don't know if I'm obviously America is very big, and there are definitely all kinds of options available there as well. But that you can do it here is cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
very
I mean,
nice.
I've read this thing about like I mean, I don't know much. Obviously, you guys might know more that this process that you've been through of going through that whole the natural process, kind of actually gives you and baby some kind of benefits in terms of hormones, vitamins. Am I right? Like things like that
Yes.
that you don't get with epidural and stuff.
Yes. Yes. Like at the
Mm.
end, like for her, for example, because she came out just in C-section, she just
Mm.
missed the macro, like what's it, like all the
Birth
natural
canal.
bacteria that
Just the very last push,
yes.
which is
Oh,
common.
okay.
So they do have to put in isolation for like 2 hours just after birth in
Yes.
a clear,
Yes.
holding area to make sure that.
Yes. But other than that, yeah, like
Other than that, you
natural,
got pretty
natural,
much
yeah.
everything we could have, and helped
Mm.
it with the bonding, which we had our lactation consultant who was our midwife with us right afterwards and coaching and stuff. But it worked well, and Nadia also had the placenta capsulized and also helped with your dreams, your
the connection
relationship,
and the healing.
your
So
yeah.
Oh wow! Can you tell us more about that? Yeah.
see, it's amazing because basically when you go natural, like, I mean, it was supposed to be natural. Like back then, there was nothing else but natural. So historically, it's been like that, and um, basically, it's all this process. It's we see births and we see things mostly in life about just the achievement, right? Like the birth is just the birth, and no, it's a process. So the birth process is like since you start like I'm carrying her, she's we planning her, right? And then when
Mm.
she's being like we in the process of birthing, you know, it's a whole process. Like most of people just focus on the moment when you pop it out, like baby's out, but it's like at least you may even spend like 20 hours labor. There might be even woman that's been like 40, hours, like almost 2 days, like in laboring. So that to
Man.
say,
Wow.
it's a process, and every
Mm.
process has its own timing, and we have to trust that process, trust the processes. That to say, like, yeah, like, it's very important that when you go natural, you listen to that process, you listen to what it's needed for everybody, like the baby, yours, like the mother, and
Mm.
even the father, that plays a big
The
role in it.
non-birthing
Yes,
partner.
the non-birthing partner.
The number. Mhm.
You mentioned dreams just now.
Oh yes, and I had the placenta capsules because in
Uh-huh.
some cultures they used to eat the placenta, and some animals
Right.
do
Oh,
too.
this is the
So
capsules.
they say, like, basically when you give birth, like, in the womb you have the baby forming, and the placenta is forming too, and the placenta is like another organ that forms and feeds the baby. So when you give birth, let's say you give birth to baby, you give birth life, and the placenta comes out after that, and
Hmm.
usually that's not as seen, like as important as the
We had to
baby.
bring a bucket
Yes.
carry it and ask specifically because sometimes they discard them.
Yes, but they say like
Right.
the placenta carries most of the, like, the baby's foot, like print, imprint of the baby's life and baby's what it's gonna be. So to heal,
Right.
like in some cultures, they eat the placenta to heal, to help you all heal the process, like, of
How
birthing
do
too, because
you?
it's also for the mother it's a loss. I mean, it's a winning, but you also losing. You like have to go through that process of losing your identity, your body as you knew it, like all that it was. So it's very
Right.
interesting how the
It's like the
placenta
birthing of the parents and then the
Mhm.
mom's kind of connection
Yes,
with that as much as anything. Sometimes people use them and they, will plant a tree with it
yes,
or a hybrid
Yeah.
thing. But the first day that you had that, you had a dream
yes,
with Quetzal.
exactly. So it,
Right.
it was so
Very
powerful when
spiritual
I had it,
process.
and it was so strong, the healing process, because it was a C-section, so it was a major surgery, so
Mm.
you cannot move for days. So I was like, wow, with this, suddenly, like, I took it, I had the capsules, and I had like this extreme, feeling, like, connection of, I can't remember exactly the dream anymore, but it was about like motherhood and my mother and the mother of my mothers, and what is that
Wow.
to eat and to
So
nurture
you
that to
kept
me too.
the you kept the
Wow.
placenta. Then how did you capsulize?
Our doctor turned them into capsules, and
Okay,
I
the
think it was
doctor
like when
did.
you first started taking
Yes.
them after a few days after the birth, you had some mental
Mm.
shifts around your, connection to like motherhood and ancestral,
Wow, that's really
Wow.
maternal lineage.
it's like the
So
whole like spiritual
heavy stuff.
process of like fatherhood.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hello, baby Q.
So
he's back
like
he's back from
and
his
then now let's jump into like how parenthood has been.
Yes.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So like generally, like you're expected to do this in you're gonna live in US for a bit and then here for a bit, but now you're gonna be here for longer.
Yeah, we're still kind of navigating everything, and I think we're definitely hopeful to have Quetzal be bicultural and bilingual, to
Yeah.
give her a chance to be, happy and confident
Best of both
and
worlds.
like different family and um, places that she feels connected to. So we'll spend some time in the States and here. I guess the default is kind of been here for thinking about her when she gets to be school age, um,
Mm.
and have a few years before that's too big of a consideration, and they're very
Yes.
flexible and adaptable as babies. But uh, seems like barring anything else, the system here seems pretty affordable and pretty. I mean, they have free education for higher education here, which we don't have in the States. Uh,
That's pretty good.
and there's also like quite a bit of like gun violence in the States and just other considerations. There's certainly,
Mm.
Mexico's share of issues, but can be a bit more targeted with respect to that. So, we feel like probably she'll be able to, like do quite a bit here and maybe have a chance to go to higher education in the States or live there or work there if she wants. But there's
Right.
like a work-life balance in Mexico that I think can be hard to come by in the States. And I guess a lot of the
Like
traditions, somebody had said home is where your ancestors' bones are buried. And so maybe with Quetzal, some type of connection to Mexico is meaningful, and traditions and customs there. And hopefully we'll
right.
expose that. In the US, it's a little bit different scenario. And my family's, immigrants from Europe and all that. So yeah, trying to navigate and figure all that out and make sure she feels like she belongs in both places, but can
Right.
keep some
Mm.
traditions that are meaningful for
Yeah.
for
And
her
she has
here.
like a solid Mexican name already, like
Yeah.
Quetzal.
Yeah.
I think that was
Good
important.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, and Elena's was Nadia's mom's
Middle name.
middle name, so maybe she can go by that in the States or a version of that if she
Yeah.
wanted to or needed to. But we're
I
proud
like
that
her
she has
too.
a name that's very traditional Mexican and
Or
indigenous,
Q.
and
Q is cool, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that
Baby
that
Nobody
cute.
also
Q.
works. That works
Cutie.
universally.
Cutie.
Yeah.
Alphabets. Right.
And
Cute,
we're
look at
lucky
that.
because Nadia can spend a lot of time raising Quetzal, and I can work remotely, and we're trying to
Mm.
partner on as much as we can. But it's been pretty good.
Yes.
We have access to fresh produce. It's affordable and pretty reasonable
You
to live
live the
here.
way you want, basically, right?
Yes.
Like right here in Mexico, you can live the way you want.
Yes. It really-
Yeah, and also culturally, right? I mean, you mentioned fresh produce. That's a huge deal, right? I mean,
Yes, and it's
fresh
accessible.
stuff.
It's affordable. Like we get
Yeah.
every week delivered, and we started deliveries because we knew we couldn't maybe handle the first months, like going out and getting things on the market and stuff. So we started to get
Yeah.
produce from a collective of women, like, and they produce like organic fruits and vegetables, and they send it to home very affordably. Really, it's like
Similar to grocery store prices,
yes,
and it's like Estado de Mexico, yeah, female collective. So yeah,
that
that would be a bit more
hard.
pricey in the States, and we certainly have versions of that, like
Yes.
CSAs and stuff. But yeah, and what about you in terms of being a parent? And
Oh well, it's been amazing. It's been I'm the Mexican one, so I'm more close to my culture. But yeah, I can see the difference. Like I never thought about them, and then yeah, I can feel very grateful for it. Like for us being able to he working in like home
Yeah.
office, and then
It's really
me able.
interesting to us this combination of the two of you, and we want to get a bit into that, like in terms of the cultural differences of raising a kid. Steve, I mean, baby Q is baby Q the first baby in your extended family?
I have actually a couple nieces and a couple nephews. So
Okay.
older brother and younger sister that have some children, which helped. But yeah, a lot of different considerations about what life will be like here versus there, and what values are passed along. I think there's a lot more like
Mm.
multi-generational living in Mexico and
Mm.
family care, and I think that goes back to
Okay.
early days where like a whole village would look after uh, a mother or father's like responsibilities. Well, the first few years of like development you can really dedicate. So uh, yeah,
Yes, I was going to say that quote of how you hear people saying, yeah, it takes a village to raise a kid, but also that actually, if you have a group or a village raising a kid, it actually is more beneficial, right? In a way, because it teaches them social skills, it teaches them, like to interact.
Quality of
multi-generational
life.
relationships and
Yes.
and
Yeah,
a lot of things. And we actually live in north part of Mexico City in a bit of a village, to the extent that a lot of neighbors are offering to look after Quetzal. And when we go to
Really?
like restaurants, people will just like watch her if I have to
Yes.
take a work call,
Oh, that's
or if
good. That's
Yes.
good.
something comes up, and like by the swimming pool the other day,
Like yeah, like
like
what they
people wouldn't
offer
do
to.
that in the States. I feel
Yes.
like
Yeah,
they
like
pitch in and they care, and they're like, it's almost like it's their baby.
yes, it's so
that
nice.
is
It's like
amazing.
an extended
That's good.
family
That's
thing.
good.
Like we go to eat and
That's
they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, you want me to?" Because sometimes we're so full, like our hands is in a call. I'm like trying to eat, and they're
right.
like, "I can carry her while you eat," and you're like, Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, people here is very nice.
Besides like the baby thing, like in general, the Mexican culture has always been like they have been very involved and hands-on. Like I'm standing in the bathroom. I don't know this person, and my tag is out. You just fix it for me. It's like
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
a very like intimate culture in that sense.
That's the things that we kind of love about the culture here also, the warmth,
Yeah.
and the kind of natural respect that people kind of have for each other, like I'm
Yes.
not saying I mean there's a lot of negative stuff also and things, but just the kind of natural kind of relationship, and
Yes.
yeah, what you mentioned about that is like really interesting because it's an
See?
environment of love, right? In a way, like when someone offers to
Yeah, like they're really treated as family, and they're helping out with the baby. Like I think in like it's less likely in America. Definitely not likely in Singapore. Yeah, like they're not gonna be like actually, then the other person might be like, oh, you don't touch my baby. It's like
yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
wariness is there.
the awareness is there. Yeah, I mean, of course, things are. I mean, like because people are protective of their families, right? Protective of the babies.
It's a colder setting. So
Mm,
and down here, that's what you want. Like you feel comfortable with the people around you. You feel the safety of like your neighbors that you trust, and then they trust you, and they want to give a baby. So
mm,
yeah, I definitely
I
get
think
that.
that's nice, and people feel pretty disconnected, generally these days in
Yes.
a lot of ways. So it's nice to
mm.
have, real life connections, and also think about that, and you
Mm.
know, things about like screens and like outside of this, kind of limiting her interactions, and trying to encourage like good social behavior and social learning, and what will make her like a good future steward of the
Yes.
earth and environment, and I think the
Well, I like that
community.
future steward of the earth and environment. That's beautiful. Yeah,
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 what a good thought.
yeah. And of
Yeah.
course, I mean, like a lot of times, parents or people might have intentions of this. These are the things I want to teach my kid, and and you have a method to get these things taught. But then there's the subtle stuff, right? Like the subtle things that are sometimes more powerful and transformative, right? Like for
Yes.
us, using a personal example in our case, like this condominium that we are renting, and we like it, and we didn't want to move because of our landlord, like and we
Our
feel our
neighbors,
neighbors, and we feel
that
a
we
real
definitely do feel the village thing that, like you say,
family vibes. Yeah,
like they usually like if they need help, they will ask us, and then
yeah,
if we need something, also to ask them. So it feels like we're family, and
Yes.
you
It's
want that
community.
environment around your home. Yeah,
yeah,
Yes.
it's
Definitely.
community
And
based.
I feel it's a very Mexican thing, but you don't find it every neighborhood. Like if you live more in Roma, Condesa, del Valle, and all that, like it's mostly like young people, not that family vibe. And it's like no
Yeah,
one knows their neighbors.
right.
It's more itinerant and
yeah.
temporary, and less like, you
Yes.
know, uh, not across the board, but often can be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very
So let me
nice.
ask you guys about that point. Uh, what are some of the qualities, or what are some of the things that you would like to inculcate,
In parenting,
in parenting? Like you mentioned being you want her to be obviously responsible, in terms of
responsible cue,
responsible.
Yeah.
You said future
Yes.
steward of the earth, right? Like for the
Yes.
environment and things like that. Maybe
conscious.
you can tell us a bit about some of
Oh,
these things that you.
Is there anything that you think from the USA, like that we want to instill in her, like kind of cultural or value wise?
Mm,
ah. Huh.
I feel like the best of that is kind of ideas for advancement, based
Yeah,
on
maybe. Yeah.
merits, and to
right.
be successful in some terms. I guess that's the myth or the dream, or something like that. There's a lot of natural beauty. I think we want to show
Yes.
her the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that maybe in a certain way I will see it as a respect and sort of order that they may have that here is less. common.
Okay, okay, okay.
But yeah, like basically, yeah, we want her to be more like in tune with nature and the
Mm.
natural rhythms of life, and also that extends to human beings and living beings, right? So she's she can be a good citizen, a good steward of the earth.
Great, look
I
at
think there's going to be increasing reliance on like food and water, and I think it's helpful to be immersive in those environments and know how to grow and cultivate and share. And there's a strong connection that we have to that here, that might be hard to replicate in the U.S., but in certain ways could. And I think just a general like connection to indigenous
Yes,
culture. We hope that she could learn Nahuatl if she
yes,
wants coming up, kind of her
yes.
grandmother's, native tongues, uh, and connect with that side. And yeah, I think, yeah,
So
nature
Nadia
and
has Nahuatl, you have Nahuatl roots,
Well,
Nadia?
at some point, yeah, like from Mexica. Well, I think it's more Tlaxcala, but yeah, like
Okay.
Central
since
Mexico, like kind of the
yes,
region,
yes, the
your
region
families
is
are
Nahuatl.
Okay.
But
from a
in my
long
Maybe
time.
maybe
family,
that's why you look so Asian. You have Asian
yes,
looks, right? Maybe it's
Yeah.
coming from that. Yeah.
it's
Mm.
like Tlaxcala is a rare mix, but yeah, like from Tlaxcala, like the my grandparents and their grandparents. I don't know how far it goes, but yeah, like at some point they were speaking Nahuatl for sure, but
Mhm.
it got lost in the like as in a lot of families, it gets lost
Mm.
And
in
more younger generations are picking it up and learning, teaching it, and the kind of
Oh, okay.
yeah, opportunities to. And there's a lot of Spanish words that have
yes.
overlap with now it's
And in Mexico, it's like a lot of the Spanish is mixed with Nahuatl, like aguacate,
Oh,
chocolate,
okay.
Oh yeah.
atole,
Mhm.
tomate, and you name it.
Right.
So, but you are going to speak Spanish to Quetzal, and Steve will speak English.
Yes,
and then
that's
hopefully get one or two others. While they're young, they have a very special gift to learn languages. So
let's
we
see how
might
many.
try to get her signed up if we can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But learning Nahuatl is gonna be, I think that's gonna be really powerful, right? Like if it's like,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
I need to sign up for classes.
We might do the family if we can,
Yeah, maybe
and
like the whole family, right? The whole family goes
Yes,
for classes
because
together,
that
and then
that would make sense for her to practice and for it to be
yeah.
meaningful. Because it's sadly it's not so spoken anymore, or like
Mhm.
you need to go to certain regions. I don't know, like exactly where we could go to hang, and that is not what was
Mm.
spoken mainly, right?
there are still some,
Right.
but a
Yes,
lot of times it's been like discouraged, or people have been
yes,
discriminated, or
Yeah.
so it's like I think there's a resurgence of generations being interested, but also a pretty hard history
yes.
with that. So yeah.
I wonder if it's like a simple language or is more complex. So yeah, when you guys start learning,
Yeah,
those
I
stuff.
wonder the same. Let's find out.
Can you say something in Nahuatl like ¿Cómo
Uh,
te llamas?
Solo
Aguacate.
No, yeah,
squinkle.
Just kidding.
oh, yeah. I just knew one point, but I cannot remember anymore. The one the
But like, what are some words? Yeah.
uh-huh. Oh, the humming, no, the Sensontlitz song, but yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
We'll get back to you on that. We can post something.
Uh-huh.
I want to ask you guys.
You know the jokes, right? You just add the at the end, and then
Yeah.
now what
Yes, yeah, Tulen, that's it.
Mhm.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? Okay.
Mm.
Hmm.
Baby
I want to ask you
But
guys a
it's
bit
been
about.
interesting.
No, go
What's
ahead.
that? Oh, just going around here, we've been trying to find. We tried to go to a place to get like a massage, but they don't allow babies because of like child trafficking, I guess. And then we went to like a billiards hall, and we have to go to like the old school ones where they let babies in. But yeah, it's been funny like trying to navigate like being young parents and like going out socially with like our friends and being responsible and all that. But I think we're managing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
you
how
realize.
was her first trip to the beach?
Oh, that was
Oh,
very good. She loved the well, she loves the
water.
ocean waves, like the sound. She didn't
Oh,
love the ocean getting in because it was
too
cold.
chaotic.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
okay.
not
Okay.
heated up, and
Oh wow.
she's used to like warm, pools, like very
Mm.
warm
Mm.
or hot
Yeah, I
tubs.
saw that photo of her in the pool, and she looks so comfortable.
Yes,
I think the ocean, it like brings you back to the womb sometimes,
yes,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like a returning to that. She sleeps with like wave sounds, and Nadia really likes that too. I like it too,
yes.
frankly.
Yeah, I love it. So
Me
it's
And
so
well,
too.
that's
Me
kind
relaxing.
of the fun thing is we get
It's a
to think
blessing.
about ourselves and what we like and what we want to pass on, and we're get to live
Yes,
again with being her age again or trying to imagine that.
Living vicariously, right? Through
Yeah.
yes,
her.
Well, so we like maybe have like about 5-10 minutes or so. So
Mm.
yeah, let's talk about like some of the like cultural things that you have noticed, like between American parenting and the Mexican parenting.
Mm.
This is your first child, but
Yeah.
I mean whatever that was passed down by what you know and what you heard in your environment and all that. Like what's the interesting things you've noticed?
Well, one of them is like there seems to be unfortunately like a lot of products around like the healthcare industry and baby industry. So um in the US there seems to be a push towards like babies as being more independent and like getting them in their room and having like a baby monitor. Um
Okay.
and here because of
Right.
economic and space and just cultural and family oftentimes like the norm is just you like push the bed against the wall and you don't have a separate crib
or
um,
separate
Uh-huh.
room.
or
Also,
separate
yeah.
room if you can't afford those luxuries. And so in the US, they say never sleep with your baby in the bed. And like there's, a minimal amount of surveys if you've been drinking a lot or, certain stuff, there
Mm.
can be accidents. But,
Yeah.
we kind of have a connected like cribs type bed and are able to, yeah, I think have a pretty close watch. And a lot of the solutions are really basic. Like we saw people at the market, like using a little vegetable crate as a little play area for a baby, and because it's like where are
Oh.
you going to set them, and we'd probably spend a lot of money and technology on something in the US when you could just get a couple dollar crate and it's like one of the
Okay.
best
Mm.
She gets so much
playpens we
fun
could have
there.
built.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like
That's
I mean,
really
in
interesting.
Singapore it's the same. I would think our culture is also to put the baby really close to
Yeah.
the master bed, and then like you don't really move them to another room that it's not the
It's not the norm,
system.
right?
Yeah, but yeah, I have definitely I mean watching TV and all that. I do notice that the American way is to make them independent, which seems pretty
Yes.
cool too. Like I like that idea as well. Like both are interesting.
And the whole thing about like self-soothing, like a baby's crying in the other room, and we're just gonna let her self-soothe. What do you guys feel about that?
Self-soothing.
Well,
Yeah.
I disagree with it, and we've been researching a lot about it. And it's like they try to push babies to be independent when they're not ready to be independent. So
Mm.
that
Mm.
can create a lot of unnecessary trauma that at the end it shows up in our attachment styles and things like that. So when you give the baby, because they're not ready,
Right.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
need
I
you.
remember you were telling me, Nadia, that like they're not ready to be out for a year, right? Like you were
Yes.
saying that. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's really cool thoughts.
Yes,
Mhm.
they're underdeveloped, like more a lot of mammals. Like you see different, like with an egg, they've finished forming outside, like in the egg, in the shell, and they crack it when they're ready. And
Oh.
for mammals, because they cannot go out, they need a lot of the mom through the first year until they cannot
Mm.
move by themselves. And if you can say find food, you know.
And
So
maybe even the
Mm.
second and third year, I think
yes,
that those periods are very important, and you can have major attachment issues if you are crying in your bed every night and
yeah, you self-soothe,
by
Yeah.
yourself.
but at the end you end up just like thinking the world it's like you'll never have your needs covered, and you end up
Mm.
like creating a bad relationship with
That
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 idea
makes sense.
that the world
Right.
is
Yeah.
hard, the world is cruel, and that is a lot related with the birthing that we were talking before. Like a lot of it, seeing like
So
reading a lot about
the
community
stages have to.
and motherhood, and like when you become a mother, I mean, mothers naturally will want to soothe their baby if they cry, and they tell you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Like it creates also people like feeling like they don't deserve, or they, like, get like all this fear
Yeah.
that
Unworthiness,
they need to
right?
survive.
I think the problem
That
becomes
fear
like
starts, right?
to over pamper them, but you want to like make sure they're confident and can handle different situations and have agency, and like you're never going to be able to watch them all the time. There's a day when they're going to have full access to like phones and YouTube and neighbors and being on their own. So it's just the best that we can do to have her feel, supported and that to have a worldview and a lens that you can navigate comfortably, and that's kind of as much compassion as possible.
Yes.
For as long as it takes.
Yes.
So do you think like the stages of like getting independence um for them is like in like 2 years old, something like when do you think
Yeah.
that will be
Yeah, it's
the
like
stage?
it's a process. Like they get independent when it's a process, and there's research showing that the more attachment they get in their first years, the more independent they become later,
Whoa.
without like the need of like they just feel safe.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. Yeah, like
And
it's
you don't
like
want to set up
it's
like
like
a
the
reward
super
system or like certain like you kind of just want to do your best to help so they
Yes.
are strong on their own, and that's usually as much as possible, and then they start pre-K or kindergarten or school. But throughout that also, like parents being a primary point of trust and contact in a lot of families, you don't always see that through the difficult middle school or high school or certain years. But if you build a very strong, open,
Yes.
communicative
Like they trust in you.
house, then hopefully you kind of find ways to keep that going, and everybody kind of goes through their issues with their
Yes.
older generations and maybe generational trauma and stuff that's baked in with that
Yeah.
that we're working through. But I think a lot of the bonding comes at a young age, and you see less parents engage with their kids with just relying on screens, and kids just
Yeah.
fully relying on them. So we're kind of trying to do what we can, because there's been a pandemic of screen fatigue also.
Yes.
Yeah,
Screen
that's
fatigue,
definitely
yeah.
something you wanna
Yeah.
avoid, right? Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys sound like, I mean, this whole conversation is very interesting to us, even though we don't have kids, but
Yeah.
but we find this whole thing like, and all the stuff that you're telling us very interesting. Like,
Yes.
it feels very conscious and with a lot of depth in different areas. So yeah,
A lot of things that we can actually go much deeper into, but unfortunately, we don't have time.
yeah,
And in fact, we're down to the last few
yeah.
minutes,
Down to
and
the last minutes.
and I think I want to ask you guys this quick question, and maybe you guys can close with this. And it's with regards to your work. I mean, obviously now you guys are still adjusting back, and what I'm interested in is in your work in filmmaking and art in general. Like, how do you think, or how has Baby Q changed your approach, to your art?
Do you want to
Uh,
start?
well, for me, of course, certainly I want to talk about it, right? Like
You want to do art
motherhood.
about
Yeah. Like
being a mother?
it's a more focus now. Like all the creative projects that I had, like with not only motherhood, it doesn't have to be all about motherhood, but even things will extend to the caring, compassionate point of view, like when you become a mother. Maybe in that sense, I've seen, like, I felt like this need to care, and as a community also based, like how we lost that also taking care, and we've seen that, and it's so touching with the neighbors and the community, they care,
Mm.
they help, and it's like, yeah, I share that too and extend that in a way.
Right.
And I think the climate crisis and global situation demands like family and community.
Yes.
And I think a lot more about like legacy and ancestral like lineage, and hopefully in a way that can, as I was mentioning, just propel things forward, where we're taking care of each other, taking care of the earth, and able to be natural and healthy and surviving. And I think it requires a lot of trust, to bridge like cultural differences, and very fortunate to have a very loving and trusting partner and family to raise Quetzal
Oh.
in, and
What a nice note to end.
Yes.
and we really loved the idea that we came back on with Quetzal and to share with people here, and it was meaningful and interesting, and we're very, very appreciative. Yeah.
Very much so. And we would love to have you guys back on. Baby Q also back on the show again.
Maybe get your daughter, and then she can talk a little bit. Yeah. But thank you so much, you guys.
We might have a series.
Yes.
Thank you. And we also want to suggest the lunar performance tomorrow. We saw that last year in a different context, and hope to make it. And big congrats on that.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. And
Time for a change.
I'm Isaac Rakesh.
yes, Nadia, Steve, and Quetzal Wizard signing out.
Bye. Peace.
Thank you to all who joined us here on That Foreign Show. It's been awesome. I'm Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, y'all.